Welcome to Upfront. I'm Mary Ruth Harris. We're coming to you from the Campbell River Shaw TV studios, and joining me today, two very special guests. We have Brent Hobden from the Comox Valley Salvation Army and Violet Hopkins from the Campbell River Salvation Army. Welcome to both of you.
Thanks so much, Mary Ruth. It's so great to be here again.
Now, I understand, Violet, you're originally from Newfoundland.
Yes, I am.
On the other coast.
Yes.
Now, how are you finding the West Coast? How long have you been here?
We came last year in July, so we've been here just 15 months. So far it's been good. We lived in BC prior to this appointment, so we're used to the BC coast and we love it.
Awesome. Now, one of the things we're going to talk about today are the bigger challenges that you are both facing in the different communities. But let's start with Christmas, because of course it is December and we have a lot going on in both the Comox Valley and Campbell River around Christmas. So Brent, specifically, what is the Salvation Army doing to help families get ready for the Christmas holidays?
Mary Ruth, we've talked so many times about this, and I've shared before that Christmas is my absolute favorite time of the year. And just interesting having a quick conversation with Violet out in the foyer. She mentioned that this is her favorite time of the year as well. So I don't know if we're both gluttons for punishment or what the story is, but. And I think that the reason why I enjoy it so much is because we have an opportunity to welcome 700 families from the Comox Valley into the Salvation Army Cornerstone building each and every year. They come back and they see us 2 or 3 times. It's an opportunity to sit down with them, to find out on a one-on-one, on an individual basis, what their needs are, what their dreams are, what their hopes are, what their goals are. And then we do whatever we possibly can to help each and every one of those guests to climb above. The mission statement for the Salvation Army, as we've shared before, is to share the love of Christ, is to meet human needs, and to be a transforming influence in our communities. And that's what we're passionate about. So this Christmas, 700 families coming in to receive that Christmas dinner, and then maybe just a little bit more of what the Salvation Army is in the Comox Valley is able to offer them throughout the ongoing year. So it's exciting.
Now, is it just families, or are you also seeing seniors?
And another great question. If this was 10 years ago, I would say that the majority of the people that we were seeing were men in their 40s. And it was all singles, and it was just kind of one of those things. Yes, we still had the families that were coming in. Yes, we still gave presents to the little ones, but we would see a significantly higher percentage of men in their 40s and 50s. The demographics has changed over the last few years, and the Salvation Army has put together an advertising campaign. It's called Heroes for Hope. Yeah, and when you see it advertising, you'll see it in the newspapers, all over throughout the media. And we're recognizing that it's a younger demographics. It's families that are coming. It's single moms, it's single dads with 2 and 3 children. And it's also the working class, finding it difficult to make ends meet.
Well, I guess the cost of housing and the cost of utilities are trumping the cost of food. So those things have to come first, and then they would need to reach out to the Salvation Army for support with the food. Is that?
Support with food is certainly probably the major things that brings people in the Comox Valley. When they're recognizing that they're paying their mortgage or their rent, and they're doing everything they possibly can. Food is not an option, but unfortunately for so many families, that's the thing where they're able to save a little bit of money. They'll scrimp a little bit on the nutrition because the non-healthy things are so much cheaper. And so that's the focus of the food bank in the Comox Valley, is to make sure that the food that we're giving them is very healthy. And also serving that ethnic group of people as well. So many different families coming in with different ethnic needs. It's not a typical turkey dinner at Christmas anymore. And we recognize that in a hurry. So it's very definitely a changing demographics, and it's changing, I think, for the good.
All right. Well, and it's great that you have created such a great team on the ground in Comox Valley that you're able to adapt to those changes fairly quickly over the last couple of years, because I've met some of your team and they're an amazing group.
Well, thank you.
And I was going to ask you about the refugees, because I know that we have had some refugees come into the Comox Valley, and I think some also here in Campbell River. So are you seeing more ethnic families coming in, culturally diverse, or have you seen an uptick in that in the last few years?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Without question. We're recognizing people coming in from predominantly, I would say, from the African nations,
Okay.
but certainly from Europe, from across Asia.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the focuses is we're trying to recognize that people aren't just, not everybody eats turkey. Right? Not everybody, and just not, it's not just their nutritional needs that vary. So not everybody needs the same programs.
Right.
And those are some of the conversations that we've had in the Comox Valley over the last 6 or 8 months. You know,
Okay.
what is it that we can do? What are the different demographics that are coming in? We certainly see a significant number of Aboriginal people coming in.
Right.
And their needs are not the same as
Correct.
maybe what we would typically have done in the past.
Right.
So being culturally aware is I think, extremely important, and that's a focus that we're really, really learning.
Now, Violet, have you noticed the same here in the Campbell River? Like, is there a culturally diverse population that is now coming into the Salvation Army?
Not so much as Comox.
Okay.
We, our clientele is mostly Aboriginal as well.
Mm-hmm.
We don't do the food hampers as well. We do, we help with the community one that's ongoing.
Okay.
And then Campbell River has their own food bank.
Right.
So we just have a small one that kind of, it's almost like a backup that people
Okay.
can use, and they can utilize that like 4 times a year.
Okay.
So yes.
All right. And is there some sort of a toy drive or a present drive for the little kids in Campbell River, or?
There is, but the
Okay.
Salvation Army doesn't do it.
Okay.
Again, we just partner with the city.
Okay.
We join with them when they do the community Christmas dinner.
Okay.
So last year, myself and my husband, we went and helped to give out toys.
Okay.
This year, we will be helping serve the food and just sitting with clients as they're waiting for their meal.
Right.
Because where there's such a large volume, they can only serve so many at a time. So
Right.
we will assist in that way.
Okay, great. And what sort of programs in the Campbell River area is the Salvation Army offering to families or singles, or fellowship programs or learning programs, or?
So we have our Lighthouse, which is located at 1381 Cedar Street.
Okay.
So Mondays and Tuesdays, we have one of our employees that works there, and she kind of gets together with some of the clients that come in. They do crafting or type things like that. Then we serve, of course, our meals throughout the week, Monday to Friday. We have 2 settings where we can set up to 56 at a time. It's just more comfortable for the clients and for the staff. And they get showers, they can have laundry services done. We have a clothing closet where they can come and get a new set of clothes for the day once they've showered.
Okay.
Because of course a lot of them are homeless, so they come in and they're wet from all the rain, so they need new clothing and a shower. So we assist them in that way. And this year we're doing our coat drive.
Okay.
So we're collecting coats for not just the kids, but for adults as well.
Oh, okay.
So they can come in and get a coat, because of course when they're out in the wet,
Yes.
the coat is no good once it's all soggy. And
Yeah.
so they'll either bring it back for us to re-dry and reuse, or they'll just have to get a new one. So.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
I didn't realize you had the meals 5 days a week.
Yes, 5 days a week. So we have a chef. So Monday to Friday, the Lighthouse is open at 11:15, and then the first setting is at 11:45.
Okay.
And then they have an hour where they can sit and eat and just fellowship with each other,
Right.
have coffee, tea, and then the second setting is at 12:45,
Okay.
and then they can stay for an hour. So.
Okay.
It's just you can manage it better. You can see The client says they're sitting more where it's not so crowded.
Right.
So it's just a better atmosphere for them.
Okay. Great.
Yes, it makes them feel more safe maybe.
Right.
You know, because you do have days when there's things that happen, whether
Conflicts,
it's conflicts or sometimes there's even drug deals that might try to go down. So you just have to be very aware of
Okay.
yes, very aware.
Brent, is there a meal program in the Comox Valley that you guys do?
There is.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, as part of what we call the Sunshine Club. So there are 5 different churches that get involved on a daily basis, and the Salvation Army takes place on Tuesday. It's through St. George's United Church, which is a wonderful facility. So they've that church has opened it up to us, and every day we receive in that 125 to 150 people for lunch. Big time need. A lot of people will drive past and wonder whether it's necessary, and I know it's necessary in both communities. Not only do we just need to make sure that people are being fed lunch, but it is such an awesome opportunity for people to come out of their homes and to get together in fellowship and just have something to look forward to each and every day. That opportunity to come in and know that there's people there that care about them, that care about their nutritional needs, and then also care about their spiritual and emotional and physical needs. So it's an opportunity for us to look at what's going on with people who we don't see on a regular basis necessarily through our family services, and say, do you know what? Yeah. Here's a bowl of chili and a sandwich or whatever it is that we're having to serve that day, and connect them with some of the programs that we offer. So it's a very valuable tool for us.
Now, is there a mechanism in place in either where if you see that the need is greater than what you can offer, that you have a mechanism in place to reach out to actual social services? Okay.
Yes, well, I know for us here in Campbell River, we work alongside with John Howard Society. We work with the Vancouver.
Now, John Howard Society specializes in the youth, right?
Yes, yeah. But they also help too with housing for clients as well.
Okay.
We try and work together with those who are staying at our shelter services. So we try and work together with those to try and find housing for them.
All right. And what about in Comox Valley?
Yeah, and I'm quite certain that your viewers are aware of the hero that the Salvation Army is part of in the Comox Valley. It's a group of nonprofit organizations, and part of that is actually the social services component that sits in on those meetings as well. So we have an amazing opportunity. The Salvation Army looks for places to serve for people who are falling through the cracks.
Okay.
We don't look at saying we need to meet every need. It's impossible. That's not what our focus is. We've got great people in both communities who are extremely well capable of providing so many various needs. We take the people who need that emergency food, who need the shelter, who need whatever it is that they need that we provide. And when we recognize that there's another agency in town that is able to provide other services, it's so key in making sure that we stay in contact with them and we get those guests plugged into the various services that are available.
So having those networks of all the different social services that are available out there from all the different groups, and being aware of that network, I guess, helps you when you're actually on the ground, sitting at the table, sharing fellowship with someone. And through that conversation, you may discover that their need is like, oh, and that twigs something for you that, okay, I'm going to connect that person with this particular aspect of the network to get them the help that they need.
Interesting. Just yesterday, we were talking with one of our guests that comes from Powell River. Now, we know that Powell River is working on an emergency wet weather program, but we know that it's not quite up and running yet.
Right.
So they're able to send that gentleman to our shelter to make sure that he gets whatever needs he has met until they're up and running. So there is a little bit of that inter-ministry unit connection that goes on. So that's extremely key. And then when this gentleman comes into Courtney, we're able to say, okay, these are the services that we offer. Not all of those are available in Campbell River. So we know this gentleman's going back.
To
and
Powell River.
He will be going back to Powell
Powell
River
River,
eventually, but while he's in town, while he's in
He
the
can
Comox Valley,
utilize, yes.
we help him out with whatever it is that we have for
Okay.
him there that's accessible through the Hero network that we have. So very, very valuable.
Right. Now, yesterday the federal government announced their housing program. There's going to be, I believe they said 100,000 new units,
Yes.
new ones, and 300,000 that they're going to renovate of
Correct.
current properties that are out there. And then, of course, in each of the Campbell River and Comox Valley, there is also a new hospital with expanded services in both communities and a new structure of how they're handling health in general. When you see this kind of physical movement, that must give you hope.
Absolutely. It gives me hope. It puts a smile on my face. We also recognize that the 2,000 homes that the provincial government is talking at putting into British Columbia over the next 2 years. So when we've got a government that recognizes that there are people in each of the communities that we're talking about who need a hand up,
Right.
not a handout.
Correct.
They need to have that opportunity to say, you know what, this is mine. This is my home. A lot of the people that we have the opportunity to work with don't have the skills and the abilities of moving into these homes. It's awesome to say we're going to have 100,000 new homes and 300,000 renovated homes. The step that we need to do now to prepare for those as they come online is to make sure that the guests that are coming into our communities have the skills and abilities that they need to live on their own, to cook for themselves, to clean for themselves, to pay their bills and to get the job that they need. And that's what we're working at doing.
Right, and that's some of the programs that are offered in the Comox Valley is the skill development, correct?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yes. Many of the programs we've had have been going on for a little over about 2 years now.
Okay.
But we've got so many exciting things that we're working on, you know, the anger management and healthy boundaries and tax preparation and forklift operations and
Right.
every month we sit down as a family services team and we look at what's available in the community and we look at the different ethnic groups that we have and we say, you know, what is it that we're missing?
Okay.
What can we do that will change the lives of even one person?
Right.
Because we recognize that it's not about the masses. It's about recognizing that individual needs and helping that individual to reach that next level and to be a transforming influence in our community.
Okay. Now, in Campbell River, do you have, like, are you able to offer, like, are you a large enough organization in Campbell River that you can offer some of the skill training that they have in the Comox Valley, or are you able to just partner with the North Island Employment Foundation Society and John Howard Society?
Yeah, we don't offer the services like Comox Valley.
Okay.
Yeah, sorry.
No, that's okay. So recently we had on another show called Insights in Business that is sponsored by the Campbell River Chamber of Commerce. They had on John Bowman, who is the president of North Island College, and Chris Callanan, who is one of the team leads for the NIAFS, so North Island Employment Foundation Society.
Right.
And they were talking about how he's seeing people come in that just don't have the skills and trying to get them into the right stream so that they can get those skills and then go on to one of the programs that are being offered at North Island College, like, because North Island is now expanding what they're offering in trades and aquaculture and that sort of thing. So so I just wondered, like, if you're plugged into communicating with them, if you see the need with your clients.
Yeah, I don't think we do it to the extent of the Comox Valley.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, how big is the team here in Campbell River?
We have Campbell River, and we also Port Arty is our kind of
okay.
sister station, if you want to call
Right.
it. So we
Okay.
also have services there as well.
Okay.
So there isn't a church there, but we do have a lighthouse. We have the Sobering and Assessment Center,
Okay.
and we also have extreme weather there as well.
Okay.
So Port Hardy and our Campbell River team combined, we have about 70 employees.
Okay. How many? Sorry, 7?
70.
70. Okay. And Brent, how big is the group that you're working with in the Comox Valley?
Very similar. We have,
Okay.
I think it's 72 employees that that we have in the Campbell River, in the Comox Valley at the moment.
Okay.
But then we rely on an army of volunteers as well,
Absolutely, volunteers.
especially at Christmas time. We've got 12 kettles out, as we speak. There's 12 out. They're in operation for 12 hours a day.
Wow.
In 2-hour shifts. So it takes it's a major undertaking in order to put that all together.
How important, sorry to interrupt, how important is that kettle campaign for the Salvation Army?
The Comox Valley alone, it's $133,000 that we've budgeted to raise this year. And 100% of that $133,000 goes into the programming that we've been talking about for the last few minutes. So without that money, without people popping the $2 or $5 or whatever it is into our Christmas kettles, those programs are very definitely at risk.
Okay.
Yeah.
And how about in the Campbell River?
So in Campbell River, our goal this year is $90,000.
Oh, wow.
And again, it stays here in Campbell River. The goal in Port Hardy is $12,000. So the money goes right back into our family services to the Lighthouse for meals for the clients for the year. And when I say clients, I also, it's not just homeless, it's the working poor, those low income or, so it's a very important campaign. And again, without the volunteers are very important this time of year. We need all the volunteers and manpower we can get to man those kettles that are out that you see in the community. So it's very important.
Now, in addition to needing the volunteers for the kettles, do you also utilize volunteers in the programs you offer, like in the lunches that every day, like this is your opportunity to ask for volunteers. So if you need more volunteers.
So here in Campbell River, we use volunteers at our Lighthouse. So we do have a paid chef. And then everyone else that works in the kitchen are volunteers.
Really? Okay.
Yes, yeah. And then we even have volunteers that work in the clothes closet there at the Lighthouse as well. That's just all volunteer based. Our thrift stores, we use volunteers there. So the need is great for volunteers.
How many thrift stores do you have in the Campbell River?
We have 2. We have one on Elmwood and we have New Beginnings in Willow Point.
Okay.
Yeah.
And Brent, how many in the Comox Valley?
Yeah, we have 3.
3, okay.
3, and it's interesting, not that long ago, we recognized that we desperately need volunteers. There's no doubt about it. It cuts down on the amount of costs that we have, and that's just a reality.
Right.
But we recognize that this is a service that we're able to offer to so many people. Seniors are coming forward, recognizing that, that they want to stay connected.
Right.
They want to stay valued. They want to contribute back. So we have a couple seniors that are working specifically in our book department in one of the stores, and they're there for hours and hours and hours every week, and it's just the most amazing thing. It is not the Salvation Army's book department in that store anymore. It is very definitely Jim and Pat's book department. They've taken ownership of it. My goodness, if I go in, I want to change anything around, I got to answer to them. There's no doubt. So it's such an amazing thing. And every time I think of them in that book department, it puts a smile on my face, recognizing that they are so valuable to the Salvation Army.
Right.
And they've shared with so many people how valuable the Salvation Army is to them, so that they have an opportunity to give back, an opportunity to recognize that their skills and abilities are so valued.
Okay. So here, I have a question for you, because this has been a topic that's been in the news a little bit lately. So when you have reached your maximum for the clothes that you're able to take, or the clothes that just aren't going through the thrift stores, what do you do with the leftover clothing?
That's an interesting question.
Recycle.
Absolutely. And I do have a passion for recycling, and unfortunately